Good afternoon, grinders. This is your RotoGrinders SimLabs analysis for the NBA Slate tonight on Monday, February 24th. I'm Jordan Cooper, aka BlenderHD, BlenderHD. If you want to follow me on Twitter, hit that like button on your way in the door. You know how much I like the thummy thumbs. Let's take a look at SimLabs for tonight. We got 7 games on the NBA Slate. We got a couple of important people on the injury report. I think the number one is Tyrone Maxey for the 76ers. I'm not saying the 76ers are doing very well recently, but when you start dropping some of your high usage players, you're going to get some value in that lineup. They are going to score points. Who's going to score them? Let's see if Maxey plays tonight. Other people that are, we got Gobert doubtful, Embiid doubtful, obviously. Obviously, in our projections, the doubtful people are always not factored in our projections until shown otherwise. Questionable players, however, are in our projections. So that's why it's very, very important that once news comes out, you come back to RotoGrinders, you reload the projections. Typically, it takes anywhere from maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Our astute projections team updates everything. We run the Sims all over again, and that's why you should be using this tool much more closer to lock. You should be tuning into Grinders Live later today at 5 p.m. Eastern, and then that's followed by Crunch Time, and they'll give you all the up-to-date news, position by position analysis. So definitely tune in to our YouTube channel. Then subscribe if you're new here. But the Situation Room, the injury report is free here on RotoGrinders. So we have Alexander Sarr, questionable. We got anyone else? Patrick Williams. I don't think that matters that much. We have a couple, but the main one is going to be Tyrese Maxey. Because if he's out and Embiid's out, it's going to be a big usage bump for guys like Quentin Grimes, like Kelly Oubre. Obviously, Paul George is still there. He's there. He should be doing better, but he's there. So let's take a look at what SimLabs shows as of now. As of right now. Remember, you want to do this much more closer to lock as all the information comes in. One of the things I first like looking at, and it's a 7-game slate. So I don't know if we're going to necessarily like prioritize correlation, prioritize leverage, prioritize whatever. Depending on the risk that you want to take on those types of advanced settings, you could choose whatever you'd like. Remember, all the lineups that are produced by SimLabs should be competitive lineups. As long as the SimLabs rating is anywhere near 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, or whatever. If you're getting 10s and 12s or whatever, that's what that's telling you. Telling you whatever you're looking to do, it's probably not a good idea. Okay, so let's say we're playing large field today. We're going to get a lot of 76ers in our lineup, but let's keep the results range low. I don't know necessarily you want to get that far off of kind of like the top optimal players. We see here that it's a lot of 76ers, and we got like Josh Giddey maybe a little bit overowned. Let's see at power forward. Basically our Sims are saying as of now, assuming Maxey is in, that Paul George is the most underowned player on the slate. So maybe we should be prioritizing Paul George. Regardless if Maxey's in or out. If Maxey's out, obviously that gives a bump to, I guess, a little bit to Paul George. At center, although Jokic has the highest raw point projection at 12K, I don't know if there's that much really like screaming value. We got like the value-ish guys are kind of like in the mid 5Ks tonight. So I'm not sure if there's like some $3,200 player yet at least where getting in Jokic is a priority. Claxton is also coming up as a bit overowned. So maybe these are people that maybe we aren't going to prioritize as much. Maybe we're not going to play a Jokic George lineup or a Jokic Maxey lineup. At the small forward spot, obviously we still get Paul George in here. Kelly, it seems like more people are going to be rostering guys like Oubre and Grimes. Yeah, we see here Grimes 14% difference between optimal and projected ownership. Remember, just because someone is over-owned doesn't mean that they don't have a great chance of making the optimal lineup. It's just that Quentin Grimes, if I take a look at lineup HQ, Quentin Grimes, for instance, like we have like minus 14, right? Minus 14. Well, the reason why it's minus 14 is because we have his projected ownership of 37% and his optimal rate meaning how often he appears in the lineup that can't be beaten by the end of all things, as we simulate the slate 10,000 times. That's 22% of the time. 22% for a player, for one player on a 7-game slate is very high. Okay. The highest optimal rate players, we got Tyler Hero, we got Tyrese Maxey, we got Lauri Markkanen, we got obviously Paul George based on our sims. And Oubre's there at 19%, Cam Johnson at 22%, Isaiah Collier at 21%. I mean, really, it's really around like kind of this like 5K, 6K range. And that's why, the only way to build like semi-balanced lineups is with that level of player. So more of those players are going to be more likely to be in the optimal lineup. But that's essentially what this is saying. So, I mean, a lot of people come here and they go, oh, I'm just going to look and I'm gonna X out all the highly read players. It's like you probably shouldn't be playing a lineup with like fading like all of the best plays on the slate from a median and optimal rate standpoint. But now you can get a little bit more of a sense of what types of lineups you should be looking for. You're probably going to play some of them and fade others, and you get to choose which ones, because there'll be a lot of lineups that it's not a matter of do you fade Oubre or Grimes today? Let's say for instance we want to fade one of them. Well, they're going to be lineups that have a high expected value that have Grimes in it and no Oubre. There are going to be plenty of lineups that have Oubre and no Grimes that have similar. They rely on different outcomes, but over an average of 10,000 plus slates that we simulate, the ROI comes back as about equal. So you could choose. But what does the Grimes lineup look like? What does the Oubre lineup look like? So let's say we exclude players, and let's say we choose to exclude Kelly Oubre. Let's say we're gonna play Paul George, right? Let's say we choose that and go, okay, what do these lineups look like? That fade Oubre. This lineup probably has Quentin Grimes in it. I'm going to assume we're going to get 20. Run this and see what the SimLabs rating. Yeah, look, Paul George, Yabusele, Maxey, right? And we get Sensabaugh, Collier in here. Yeah, I mean, look at the ownership. I mean, no one's like Jalen Williams paying up at 7,800, 8.1% owned. So this is not like you're not doing something crazy. And these are very highly SimLabs rated lineups. Here's a Quentin Grimes lineup, right? You could choose here. Here's one with Maxey, George, and Yabusele. Here's one with Trenton Watford in there in the center spot and Quentin Grimes in the guard spot. And Jamal Murray's in here. And like no one in this lineup is single digit owned, which is still fine. Why? Because, well, these are not Oubre lineups, and Oubre could be 30+% owned. And Paul George is 18% owned, and we have his optimal rate is 30+. So he's under owned. You're getting leverage by playing Paul George, according to our sims right now, as of like 1:30 in the afternoon. Okay. So this is what you should be using the SimLabs for, and we're getting a doubtful tag. The news just come in. Let's see. Let me just make sure. Maybe it's Quentin Grimes not even playing today. I mean, we have the D tag in the SimLabs, but check on that. Check on that as we update the sims. I don't want to say, okay, well, Quentin Grimes is doubtful. Well, that's going to change a lot of things also. So let's say we do it the other way. Let's say we exclude Quentin Grimes. I'm assuming we're going to get a bunch of Oubre lineups now, right? Let's see. We're going to lock Paul George. We're going to exclude Quentin Grimes. And yeah, you get Maxey, George, Yabusele. Maxey, George. Here's a Kelly Oubre lineup. So you could choose. I mean, look, here's a Kelly Oubre lineup. Here are ones that don't even have Kelly Oubre. So maybe that's what you do. Maybe you say, okay, I want to find lineups that have neither of them. Maybe I don't even want to have Yabusele in them. Maybe I just want to play Paul George. Right? You could do that. And these lineups, you're probably going to have more like more bulls in them. And maybe that's what you want. Lonzo, but you're going to have Maxey, Ball. Maybe let's say Maxey doesn't play. Let's say you essentially just want to play Paul George as your only 76. What do those lineups look like? And how are they rated? If it comes back and all the ratings are garbage, then SimLabs is telling you probably not to do it, but let's see. So I'm going to exclude Grimes, Oubre, Yabusele, and Maxey and just play Paul George. What do those lineups look like? I'm going to run 20. You could run 150. You could save a bunch in the save lineup section. You could look at whatever you want. You could take ones that have Paul George. You could take ones that don't have Paul George. You could go through and go, I like this one, save that one, and then run it again. You see how quick this works, right? You could do sets of 20, 30, 50 lineups in 3 or 4 seconds and then scroll through and go, I like this one, save. If you're playing 20 lineups and 20 max, so you can just pick your 20 from there. Or even if you're just playing 3, you're like, I'm going to pick 10 or 12 and then narrow it down to the 3 that I like the most, right? As long as they come up fairly highly rated. I mean, look, these lineups are all pretty good. Here's ones with a ton of bulls in them, right? So you're playing Paul George and then you're playing like all of Chicago. Right, that's one thing. Like we have here, we have 2 Blazers. We have at Avdija. I can never pronounce that guy's name right. Denny. You got Denny in there. So you got Paul George, Tyler Hero. Right, you're probably playing a little bit more Tyler Hero because he's highly optimal according to our sims. And yeah, if you're not playing like Oubre and all the cheaper 76ers, you're probably going to play more chalky other players in your lineup. So here's one with Claxton in it. Right, so let's say you wanted to play Claxton and you wanted to play Hero. Like you look at this lineup, but it's like, okay, the lowest owned guy is what? Jaden McDaniels at 6% at 6,600. Not necessarily the best of values, but our sims say that this lineup rates pretty well for a large field GPP. So you could choose to play this, right? You could scroll through. There are plenty of lineups. Look how many lineups that just have Paul George and none of the other 76ers that rate pretty well, right? Take a look at all that. And if you want to add even more, if you go, I want to play this guy, I don't want to play that guy, you can do this all in SimLabs and find the lineups that you want to play. So this is a very good research tool of, well, if I want to X this guy out and do all this stuff, well, what do my lineups rate in the Sims? And if it rates badly, then it just tells you not to do that. If it rates well, then you could feel free, play that lineup. You could come up with the 8 players that would be in your lineup and put it in. And it kind of doesn't work that way, but you could almost get there. And you could sync all of these lineups in Lineup HQ if you're a RotoGrinders premium member. And you could use Lineup HQ to do set up groups, set up all the things. But SimLabs, you don't have to do all that, right? SimLabs, we kind of do all the work for you behind the scenes. Correlation, projection, leverage, all together. Not making groups and how correlated these two. Should I play a game stack here? Like, no. We simulate all the games to reflect all of that. And then we simulate all the contests to reflect how much leverage do you really need. And we see with a lot of these lineups where, look, I put in large field in a low results range. So it's not even like, you're not pulling out like really, really weird lineups. And most of these lineups, like you're not really playing like 3% owned guys. Right, you're just playing a combination, maybe combinatorically, that is pretty different, especially when it's in this scenario, you're not playing any of the secondary 76ers players. But you can choose the other way around. Let's reverse this before we get out of here. Let's say you want to do the opposite. Let's say you want to play Oubre, you want to play Grimes, right? You want to play Yabusele, and you don't want to play Paul George. And you're going under the assumption that Maxey sits or something, so you're not going to play a Maxey lineup or something. Now look, I'm going to get lineups. We're going to be able to find lineups that project, not all that well to play all of them together. Basically, it's telling you, yeah, let me put on the high results range. It's basically telling you that, yeah, you're too chalky by playing all 3 of these together. I think, right? I guess there's one here. Yeah, it's basically telling you if you're going to exclude George and Maxey and lock in Oubre, Grimes, and Yabusele, that's not a good thing to do. I wouldn't have known. I thought there would be combinations of this, but apparently there isn't. And this is, how would I have known without going into SimLabs and seeing for myself? So if you're looking to make this kind of combination, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you shouldn't. And this is what SimLabs is for. And you could get this as part of our combo light package, only $29.99. I think it's way too cheap, right? Most sim products around the industry are hundreds of dollars for whatever reason, right? Well, we take our projections, our ownership, we simulate our lineup fields for small field, large field, single entry contests. And we update this on regular basis throughout the day, especially for NBA. Even on our Discord, which is free, rotogrinders.com/Discord, there's a SimLabs channel, and it will even update you on when SimLabs has been updated for every sport. And we have it for all 4 major sports, NBA, MLB, PGA, NFL. And with the Combo Light package, you get SimLabs plus all of our comprehensive tools, articles, rankings, premium videos, all the premium written content, right? All that type of stuff for the 4 major sports. But if you want it all, if you want lineup HQ, you want everything and all the you want soccer projections, all that type of stuff. That's the premium. That's the Combo Pro. So go try the Combo Light package. Click on that link in the description for more information about that. But I'll be back tomorrow. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door for another. We keep on going with NBA, right? We're going to go with the NBA through till the MLB season, right? And maybe we'll do some NBA and MLB. Who knows? Who knows? But tomorrow I'll be back with some NBA with your SimLabs analysis here on RotoGrinders.com.